Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Kris. This is, it's going to be a two-part. Supreme Ruler of Russia, Rise of Admiral, is it Kolchak? Kolchak? I think it's Kolchak. But it's Russian. Kolchak. I don't know. So we're going to get into this. This was requested video. I don't know what's happening right now. It's HD. Come on. There we go. Okay. You can go ahead and click that thumbs up button for me. That helps. You can subscribe to the channel. And you can donate to the channel through the thanks button. If you request a video, your name is sponsoring that video. And if you request a video without donating, this was requested. You just don't get that little extra little benefit. All right. So we're going to break this down into We're going to break this down into two parts. I almost said two 2-minute videos, but no, we're not doing that. And video.
November 1918. In Western Europe, the 4-year slaughter of World War I is drawing to an end. But across the former Russian Empire, a new conflict has broken out. A civil war that rages from Central Europe to the Pacific and will claim an estimated 9 million lives. Lenin, the Bolsheviks, and their new Soviet Republic battle for survival against their many enemies, collectively known as the Whites. The Whites' great hope, their newly appointed Supreme Ruler of Russia, Admiral Alexander Kolchak. He is a war hero, a man of duty and discipline, who believes above all in service to the motherland. Millions look to him to crush the Bolsheviks, avenge the murdered Tsar, and save Russia from chaos and collapse. This is the extraordinary tale of the life and death of Admiral Kolchak.
Well, they didn't have to tell me about the death part. Spoiler alert. Ah, jeez. I was fingers crossed he was still alive.
Russia's only Supreme Ruler. The Arctic Ocean, 1900. Russian scientific vessel Zarya sails east on a voyage of discovery to the outer fringes of the Russian Empire. The expedition leader is Baron Edward von Toll, a renowned Russian explorer and geologist. He intends to explore the Arctic Ocean and discover Sannikov Land, a near-mythical landmass rumored to lie north of the Novosibirsk Islands. Among his crew, 26-year-old Naval Lieutenant Alexander Vasilievich Kolchak. Kolchak had been a brilliant naval cadet, but service aboard the Petropavlovsk, one of Russia's newest battleships, had bored him. Kolchak had a passion for scientific discovery and oceanography, and a thirst for adventure. When Baron Toll asked him to join his expedition, he leapt at the chance. The dawn of the 20th century is an age of intense imperial rivalry and scientific exploration. Russia, under the autocratic reign of Tsar Nicholas II, seeks to modernize and learn more about its vast eastern territories. Toll's expedition is part of this process, and proves as dramatic as any tale in the annals of polar exploration. Toll was a deeply ambitious leader and expert geologist, but knew little about the sea. His ship, Zarya, was in poor condition and ill-suited for long voyages in the ice. Nevertheless, the expedition spent 2 years exploring the frozen coast, ice floes and islands of Russia's Arctic north. On one occasion, Toll was nearly drowned by a walrus. Kolchak was pursued by polar bears. In May 1902, frustrated by his failure to find Sannikov land, Toll took an extremely dangerous decision. With Zarya trapped in sea ice, he set off with 3 men traveling by sled to reach Bennett Island. Zarya broke free of the ice a month later and set off to collect him. But facing impenetrable ice and running out of coal, Zarya had to turn back. Toll and his team were stranded. Lieutenant Kolchak had distinguished himself as a key member of the expedition and a loyal comrade to Baron Toll. He was determined their leader should not be abandoned. Returning 3,500 miles overland to St. Petersburg, Kolchak helped to organize a rescue mission. His plan seemed insane. To reach Bennett Island without a ship, using only sleds and small boats. But in the absence of better options, his proposal was approved. Kolchak postponed his own wedding to return to the Arctic and begin preparations. On the 5th of May 1903, Kolchak's 17-man rescue expedition set off across 600 miles of snow and dangerous, shifting pack ice. Traveling by a combination of dog sled and whaleboat, it took 3 grueling months to reach Bennett Island, where they found no sign of Baron Toll. Just an abandoned campsite, some scientific observations, and a note. "Departing south today," it read. "We have provisions for 14 to 20 days. All are in good health." The note was dated the 26th of October. It was 9 months old. No sign of Toll or his 3 companions was ever found. Despite its failure, Kolchak's daring rescue mission won him national fame and the Imperial Geographical Society's highest award, the Konstantin Medal. It also won him a nickname, Kolchak Polyarny, Polar Kolchak. Returning to Yakutsk in January 1904, Kolchak learned that Japan had attacked Russia's Far Eastern base at Port Arthur, and war had been declared. Here was an opportunity for action, and the service to the motherland that Kolchak craved. He immediately requested a transfer to the front. But first, he met his fiancée, Sofia Fyodorovna, in Irkutsk for their postponed wedding. 4 days later, he left for the Far East. The world expected Russia, a great imperial power, to easily defeat Japan, an Asiatic upstart, according to racial views of the time. But instead, the war proved a frustrating and humiliating experience for Russia's military, with devastating defeats on land and sea, leading to a political crisis at home. There was little Lieutenant Kolchak could do to change the tide of war, bottled up with Russia's Pacific Fleet in Port Arthur. He nevertheless served with distinction and courage. As commander of a small, aging destroyer, his main role was laying mines at sea. In December 1904, one of his mines scored a major success, sinking the Japanese cruiser Takasago. But the repetitive nature of his duties bored Kolchak, and he was dogged by ill health. In December 1904, the Japanese got close enough to Port Arthur to shell Russian warships with their land-based artillery. Ship by ship, Russia's Pacific Fleet was sent to the bottom. Days later, Port Arthur surrendered. Kolchak was among the 25,000 Russian prisoners, though as a sick and wounded officer, he was repatriated a few months later and returned to his wife in St. Petersburg. The war had been a demoralizing affair for Russia, and for Kolchak personally, though he received several medals for his leadership and bravery. In 1914, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo sparks an international crisis. Austria-Hungary accuses Serbia of responsibility for the crime and plans to retaliate. This causes Nicholas II to mobilize Russia's army to support Serbia, a Slavic ally. In response, Austria's ally, Germany, declares war on Russia. Soon, all the great European empires are at war. That summer, as the Russian army blundered towards disaster in East Prussia, 39-year-old Captain Kolchak took command of a destroyer flotilla in Russia's Baltic Fleet. The previous year, he'd been described in an official report as an outstanding officer in every respect. Firm character, well-mannered, very disciplined. Kolchak was, in every way, a model Tsarist officer. Now in the Baltic, he and his flotilla would enjoy notable success, despite the overwhelming superiority of the German Navy. Once more, mine warfare was the Russians' favored tactic. In the early days of the conflict, Kolchak's flotilla alone laid 6,000 mines in the Gulf of Finland. These operations effectively shielded the Russian capital from attack by sea. Kolchak went on to direct a series of bold night operations, laying mines on the approaches to enemy ports, including Niemel, Danzig, and Kiel. Kolchak's courageous leadership won him more medals, and a meeting with Emperor Nicholas himself. In 1916,
Look at this guy. I mean, clearly, that's a glitch, but man, it's he's the only one he's just kind of like, yep, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. That's the Tsar. Everyone else, this guy next to him looks like, and this guy's like, did you fart? Huh? This guy, look at that face. That's a guy who was just staring at the camera and just hoping he wasn't going to be executed. Oh wow, hold on, let me see this. Look at this guy. Did you fart? Huh? Look at this guy. Yeah. You know who did it. Alright. Sorry, I'm just entertaining myself. Alright, back to the video. Oh, sorry.
In 1916, Kolchak was promoted, becoming the youngest admiral in the Russian Navy. with a new role: Commander-in-Chief of the Black Sea Fleet. He arrived at his new headquarters at Sevastopol in Crimea in July. He was accompanied by his wife, Sofia, and their 6-year-old son. The couple had by now lost 2 children in infancy. Across the Black Sea, Kolchak faced Russia's old adversary, the Ottoman Empire, and Bulgaria. Kolchak quickly adopted an aggressive strategy, laying mines off the enemy's coast and providing naval support for Russian operations near the Caucasus. His great hope was to launch an operation to capture the Bosporus Strait, which would be a decisive blow against the Ottomans, and open up a sea route to Russia's western allies. Russia's first Naval Infantry Division was created for this task and placed under Kolchak's command. But the operation would never happen. It remained a dream beyond Russia's capabilities. Nevertheless, Kolchak's success in the Black Sea made him famous once more, a celebrated war hero at a time when Russians were desperate for good news. Because from every other quarter, the news was of defeat, chaos, and turmoil. March 1917. On the streets of Russia's capital, renamed Petrograd, there were protests against food prices and the huge sacrifices of the war. It was the start of a revolution. The news took a few days to reach the Black Sea Fleet, 1,000 miles to the south in Crimea. Admiral Kolchak, determined to prevent any unrest within his fleet, issued a proclamation. I order all officers of the Black Sea Fleet and land forces entrusted to me to continue firmly and unwaveringly to fulfill their duty to the Emperor and Motherland. The very next day, Nicholas II abdicated the throne. For Kolchak, it was a bewildering blow. Duty, discipline, loyalty to sovereign and motherland were all he knew, and he foresaw chaos ahead.
We're going to go ahead and end it here. Next video, because I don't want to get into any kind of what I feel like is going to be some fighting. I would hate to interrupt it. So we're going to end this here. This is part 1. We're going to stop. And we'll be back with part 2. I have to get a drink, another drink. And when I return, I will do part 2, which will be out tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know, I've kept this secret long enough, but I'm actually not real. I'm AI generated. That's why it's all blotchy. And the secret to it is to have a good day, have a good night. I can't tell you the secrets because the person standing right there will shoot me. Is there someone there? All that to be discovered on part 2. That's what we call a cliffhanger. There's no one there. I'm going to go bye-bye. Bye-bye.